All right, now before we move on to the next DAX function, calculate, I want to take a moment and pause here to address a really important but nuanced point. And it has to do with the values that we've produced here in our matrix view. Now you'll notice my screen looks a little bit different. That's just because Power BI has gone through some updates since recording the last version of this course. So you'll see the light mode here, a new filters pane. Don't worry about those differences. Functionally, everything will operate exactly the same, and if there are major changes, I'll address those as we get to them. But what I want to focus on right now are the values here. Now, if you haven't already, I want you to take a minute, pause the video, and let me know if you see anything a little bit strange or unexpected about some of these values. All right, did you find it? By now you've probably realized that this total orders column is a little bit strange because the total, 25,164, does not equal the sum of its component rows. In fact, if we were to add up the accessories orders, bikes orders, and clothing orders, we'd end up with something closer to 38,000, not 25. So what's going on here? Well, this is a perfect opportunity to talk about exactly how DAX is working and also how the data that we're working with is really structured. So two things I want to call out here right off the bat. First, this value here in the total row is not calculated as a sum of the rows above. This field is calculated as an island, and it has no awareness or visibility into the values around it. In fact, this is calculated by evaluating the total orders measure without any filter context applied. That's why it's a totals row. Whereas a number like 6976 is evaluating the total orders measure with the filter context category name equals clothing. So it might not seem like a big difference, but it's a critical, fundamental idea to help you understand how DAX really operates. So that's the first thing. The second thing that we need to call out here is how this total orders measure is actually working. So let's go ahead and find it here in our field list. Total orders. Remember, we defined the total orders measure as a distinct count of order numbers inside of our sales table. So let's take a closer look. Let's jump into data. We're going to drill right here into our sales table. And what I want you to do is actually sort your order numbers descending. And what you'll notice right off the bat is that the same order number can appear multiple times. So there can be multiple instances of the same order. In this case, right here at the top, SO74147, that order number appears 3 times. So the order took place on June 30th, and it actually contained 3 different products or 3 different order line items. Okay, so this customer, when they made this purchase, they bought 1 quantity of product 490, 1 quantity of product 605, and 2 product 538. And because we're calculating a distinct count, that only counts as 1 order number, even though it contained 3 different products. So following this kind of chain of investigation, let's think about what these products actually represent. We can do that by following our relationships in our data model to understand what is product 490 and what category does it fall into. So let's start there, 490. We're going to go into our product lookup table. Make sure you're sorted on product keys, and we can scroll right to 490. Here it is. So this is a short sleeve classic jersey, and the product subcategory that this falls into is 21. So same logic. Let's go into product subcategory, find subcategory key 21, jerseys. That makes sense, and that falls into category 3. So last but not least, jump into product category. Category 3 is clothing. So product 490 should be labeled or categorized as clothing. Now I won't go through that same process for each of them. You can if you want for practice, but I'll tell you right now, product 538 is a road tire, which falls into the accessories category, and product 605 is a road bike. It's the Road 750 black bike, which falls into the bikes category. So as you're starting to realize, this one order number contains products that fall into 3 different categories: clothing, accessories, and bikes. So when we jump back to our report view, think about how this total orders measure is evaluating. When we're filtering down to our accessories categories, we're seeing one order from that particular order number that contains an accessory product, right? When we filter down on bikes, we see another order, and clothing, we see a third. So we're adding one, or we're counting one order for each of these 3 categories. But then when we evaluate the total, we're looking at the unfiltered total sales table, just like this. And because we're using a distinct count, we're not counting that as 3, we're counting it as 1. So kind of tough to wrap your head around, but that's exactly how this is working here. And one way to kind of interpret this or read the numbers from this matrix is that accessories, or products in the accessories category, appear in 16,983 orders. Products that fall into the bikes category appear in 13,929 orders, and so on and so forth. So again, it's a little bit of a nuanced point, but a really critical one to understand as you're learning this DAX language. Hopefully that helps.